11 o'clock in the morning, meteorologists Kim Castor and Pat Kavlin interrupting programming for just a minute to show you the areas that have imminent threat for flooding. Right now, we are tracking areas north of the city. This includes Grimes County, Washington, and Austin that are under an active river flood warning. This extends towards Waller, towards San Jacinto, Polk, and Walker counties as well. Downtown, the rain has lightened up for now. However, we have seen considerable rain, anywhere between 4 to 14 inches in just the last 2 days, and more is on the way.
Yeah, so we're going to talk about what the flood gauges across the area look like as rivers start to increase. This is a live look at the Harris County Flood Control District. We've got a lot of yellow and red boxes now starting to show up north of the city and getting into Lake Houston as well. We're going to do a deeper dive on this right now on our digital platform, KHOU 11 Plus, and online. We will see you there in just a minute. Just Pat Kavlin with an updated look at the flooding situation that's starting to unfold, especially north of the city. All of these green boxes you see here indicating river flood warnings. This is a live look at the Harris County Flood Control District map, and all the green boxes here indicate areas where flooding is not expected to happen, but we're starting to see a lot more yellow and red indicating areas where flooding is possible and where flooding is already occurring. We're going to start here first, down towards the San Jacinto River, where a river flood warning is in effect because we're expecting the San Jacinto River to eventually overtop its banks. So this is right at the East Tex Freeway. If this gets high enough, this could cause some really big issues this afternoon for that evening commute. If you're familiar with this stretch of roadway here, you know that when we get heavy bouts of rain, this tends to flood. So this could cause some major issues as we get towards the afternoon and evening. This could also cause issues getting farther downstream here as we get into Atascocita and getting into Lake Houston. So just keep that in mind. A lot of water, maybe not falling over this area right now, but upstream, which is coming downstream and leading to those higher river levels. Farther to the north, we see Caney Creek here, 2090, out of banks. So we're already seeing flooding occurring in this area here. This is around FM 1485, FM 2090. So if you're familiar with this area, we have a river flood warning in effect here. And this river flood warning goes in effect until Friday at 1:30 in the afternoon. So we're expecting these river levels to stay high for the next several days. This is not going to be a one and done deal here. So if you live anywhere in this area, we're expecting several days where that river is going to be potentially out of its banks. Farther to the west, more rivers that are out of their banks. Mound Creek, 3 Mile Creek, Mill Creek. So we've got Mound Creek at FM 362, 3 Mile Creek at Joseph Road, Mill Creek at FM 1486. Quickly here, this one, this area is under a flood warning. Again, this is I believe this was Mound Creek. So Mound Creek at 362, you're out of banks, and we do have a river flood warning. This goes until this evening at 6 p.m. They may end up extending this if we see more rain falling over this area. Because it's not tied to a larger river, though, it's more of a short-term flood warning than what we saw a little farther to the north. Going back over to the other side of the city now, the Lake Houston Dam, water is currently over the top of the spillway, so that's flowing south. No river flood warning in effect at the moment. So that's a good news for folks that live downstream of the dam. It means that we're not expecting any flooding concerns for those neighborhoods right now. But just keep in mind, we're seeing Lake Houston to the top of its level, and so it is coming over the spillway at the moment. Let's get you to radar and show you what's going on now. The latest, still a flash flood warning extending from Fayetteville all the way through I-10 going down towards the south of Gonzales. And then these lighter green boxes, this is where the river flood warnings are in effect. So the good news right now is that we don't have any flash flood warnings in effect like we did last night for these areas going north from Brenham into Huntsville. The bad news, we got a lot of rain starting to move over those spots, so I wouldn't be surprised if some of these river flood warnings got upgraded to flash flood warnings. So let's get you in for a bit of a closer look and see who's seeing the worst of it right now. We'll start up towards Washington County, again, Brenham, where they've had, upwards of 15 inches of rain in just the last 24 hours. We're getting more and more rain over these areas. In fact, we can actually see how much we've gotten last 24 hours. Again, some big totals out towards Brenham, 9, 10. Again, some of those bullseyes indicating over a foot just to the south and west of Brenham, 7 inches. Navasota, you've seen an average accumulation in the last 24 hours of about 3 to 5 inches. And when we go to just the last just the last hour alone as that heavier rain has moved over these spots. Now we're starting to get reports between a half an inch to an inch of rain out towards Hempstead, Belleville, average accumulation about a half an inch. But again, that's in the last hour on top of spots that have already gotten about a foot of rain. So any additional rain is going to cause some issues out towards the border of Grimes and Montgomery County, about a half an inch of rain out towards the Magnolia area. And as we get you back to radar, you can see, again, just a ton of rain pushing over these spots right now. Northwest Harris County, you're okay for the moment. We're going to have to watch this line to see if it starts to push farther to the south. As we get you back to a wider view, you can see the city at the moment fairly dry, just a little downpour moving over right now from Sugar Land into the city, but the bulk of that training rain, the rain that moves over the same spots over and over for an extended period of time, really from Montgomery County, extreme northwest Harris County, and points to the north and west. Coastal spots, you're good. Chambers County, you're dry. Liberty County, you're dry right now. Galveston County, you're dry at the moment. Brazoria, quick downpour. Matagorda, you're dry. Down towards Wharton County, a little thunderstorm here along the Southwest Freeway, but it's really the areas to the north here that we are most concerned with. Let's get you up towards Walker County now. The Huntsville area saw a little bit of flooding last night. You're getting more rain at the moment. We'll switch over. Last 24 hours, again, some of these spots saw upwards of 4, 5, 6 inches of rain out towards Lake Livingston, where we've gotten some reports of flooding up there. Again, 4, 5, 6 inches of rain in the last 24 hours. Rain totals in the last hour still pretty low. Again, these are going to start to go up as we head into the next 30 to 45 minutes. But so far, rainfall rates on average have been about a quarter to a half an inch per hour, which is manageable. But again, we're seeing this rainfall on a saturated ground, and that's where a flooding threat could come into play. And if not a roadway and street flooding issue, more rain on these watersheds will eventually start to trickle farther down to major rivers like the San Jacinto River, the Trinity River. So these are things that we got to keep in mind here as we go through the rest of the afternoon, because we got a lot more rain on the way. So we'll switch over to our warning product. Again, the only thing that we're seeing at the moment is that flash flood warning, but it's pretty much out of our area. It's getting into Bastrop, Fayette, Gonzales, Lavaca County. So this is right outside the viewing area. This is where they've had upwards of 10 to 15 inches of rain. Again, no flash flood warnings active for our area right now. So as we get you back to the wider shot, and we'll switch you back over to radar, you can see there's just this big persistent heavy band of rain that's falling over here, and it has just continued to move over the same spot over and over for the last few hours. So as we put the radar into motion, again, spots to the south and east, you got clobbered this morning. You're quiet for the moment, but it's these areas where the rain has not only been stationary, but notice it started to fill in the last hour or so. That's where flooding could become a concern. Going to step off screen for a moment and pull up Future Track so we can see what the rest of the day looks like. This should be the last day of heavy rain for us, thankfully. And we'll put Future Track into motion in 1 sec. There you go. And you can see, again, the focus will be from the city endpoints north and west here over the next hour or so. We'll continue to move the map here. Again, coastal spots I think are going to be okay by lunchtime. No movement on the rain, though, north and west, and that just continues here. Although I do think towards the afternoon, 3 and 4 o'clock, coastal spots get back into this. I think the focus comes off the northwest areas. So you're going to be in the rain from Montgomery County. Take a line, draw it with me here from Shepherd through Conroe, all the way back through Eagle Lake. To the north and west, you see the heavy rain through about 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock this afternoon. And then I would say after that point, it starts to focus more south into the city and then down towards the coastal areas until finally around 8 o'clock this evening, the core of this rainfall starts to move off towards the east. Just like last night, we catch a break, and then we'll get one more quick moving shot of rain as we get into tomorrow morning before we finally start to get a drier forecast. Coming up at noon on KHOU 11 News at noon, Kim Castro and I are going to do a deeper dive on this. We'll have the latest model data and the all-important 7-day forecast with some drier weather. You don't want to miss it again. We'll have all of that and more coming up for you at noon.